I actually kind of like Choplifter. The Famicom port came really late for the game, which had been ported to almost 24 computers and game systems before it got released. The thing is, I may like Choplifter, but this is just about the worst port I've played. It turns what was a very challenging game into an effectively unplayable one. It also turned this recording into a real mess as I spent more than an hour trying to get to the second stage just to prove it existed. The premise of Choplifter is that you're flying a rescue helicopter into enemy territory to rescue POWs. Your helicopter has a machine gun, and as you fly along, it tilts towards the ground so that you can shoot at targets there. The B button fires, and the A button causes your helicopter to turn. When the helicopter is facing the camera, then it drops bombs instead of firing the machine gun. Those bombs can only hit these tanks. No other ground targets are affected by them. In the Famicom version, the rotation of the helicopter alternates every time you push the button. So if you're flying left and tap A to rotate, then it'll turn to face outward, but then when you press A again to fly onward, it'll rotate back to the left. You have to press and hold the A button to make it rotate to the right. So if you make it into enemy territory, you'll find the locations holding people hostage. You shoot them open with the machine gun, and then they come out 3 at a time. You have to land the helicopter near them, not on them because you'll kill them, and then they'll all run into your helicopter. While the helicopter's on the ground, these tanks spawn, and they'll pull up and try to shoot at you, but in the Famicom version, they are almost completely ineffective. A good approach is to rotate so you're faced outward, land on the ground to start picking people up, and then if the tanks do get close, you just push up into the air and drop a bomb on them. The helicopter can carry 8 people, and once you're loaded, it's time to fly back to base. You drop them off to get some fuel back, and if you're shot down on the way, all the people in the helicopter die. To advance to the second stage, you have to rescue 20 of them. And there are 32 hostages total, so you can't afford to lose 1 load, but not 2. Now it's time to get into what makes Choplifter so nightmarish to play. Like most shooters, it only takes 1 hit to knock out the chopper. That's pretty normal. But what isn't, is how enemies tend to shoot the instant they come on screen, and your helicopter does not maneuver well. You're going to spend a lot of time just getting shot down instantaneously as you try to fly past the border checkpoint. But let's say you halt your forward momentum and start backing up a little. Well then, the jeeps spawn directly beneath you and fire instantly. The only way that you can really mitigate this is by knowing the positions of the ground emplacements. The strategy I wound up trying to use to get to level 2 was to try to knock out all of the anti-aircraft guns first. That and lots of resetting when I died less than 10 seconds into a game. Knocking out those guns is harder than it sounds, too. The spot you have to hit to shoot them out is actually a bit above them. So you'll have lots of shots that look like they hit and just don't do anything. In the end, I couldn't get to level 2 playing on my cart, so I switched over to an emulator and used some save states. Later levels changed the backgrounds and add some new things that shoot at you. This is a very bad port of Choplifter. Fortunately, we didn't get in the United States thanks to Nintendo's monopolistic practice of not allowing people to release games on multiple systems. But if you want to play Choplifter, I do recommend the Master System or Sega Mark III port. It's probably the best version of the game. Just stay away from this one unless you have a real masochistic streak.